Welcome back. An important update to the shocking arrest of two young African-American businessmen at a Philadelphia Starbucks. Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson were denied use of the restroom and later taken into custody after occupying a table at the coffee bar without making a purchase and refusing to leave until an associate arrived. In the wake of national outrage and a very public apology by Starbucks chief executive, Robinson and Nelson this week accepted a cash settlement of $1 each and the pledge of $200,000, a grant to a local high school to develop entrepreneurial skills for local kids. Robinson and Nelson say their desire was to turn something negative into a positive. Panel, what's your point? I want some Nyanza.
So it's very good that the settlement is happening. It's very good that we're having a positive conversation. The only thing that concerns me is the lack of empathy coming from our president. I'm not sure if he's made any statement as to the heroic efforts of somebody to deny a large, huge payout when he's the kind of person that will pay out a payout no matter what. But I have to say that when you have all of the negativity that comes out with the inherent racial bias against African-American men in this era, when they're being shot down by police, it says a whole lot about how the African-American community feels on a whole, because if you ask most black people, they probably would not have taken a large payout. They probably would have said, do something for the community to stop this racism and to stop this bias. Shutting down the stores on May the 29th to go ahead and have diversity training, I'm not sure if that's going to help. I think it's good for, lip service and it's good for media attention, but it's really not going to address the problem because those are inherent issues that cannot be solved with an 8-day training course. I think hooray to the black men, but I also want people to know that there was some fine print at the bottom of that settlement. They didn't just take $1. They did get a payout.
Okay, Jess, jump in.
Pure class, and I hope that the way they handled this gets as much media attention as the original issue itself, because I think that it would be a great example of how you can turn a negative into a positive.
Okay, Mark.
I got to say that this compromise is great. I think the idea that there are kids that will benefit from this. I think the idea that these young men who I believe were promised scholarship money as well will benefit for this. And that 1 day of training, it won't heal America, but it will help in some way. But here's the bigger picture. I just have to, and I'm not a big Starbucks fan, but I will acknowledge and celebrate whatever progress it's made and the example that they set. I just hope that there's a local guy up the street named Billy Bob McNair who should take a lesson on how to handle these types of issues instead of doubling down on your foolish racism.
Okay, who wants to talk? Tony.
The other thing, too, is great point. I think every corporation that benefited from Trump's tax scam should do the same thing and take the millions they got and give it to schools. 200 G's per school. I love that. On top of it, too.
We should focus on the positive.
Yeah, we should focus on the positive. That finally, if a corporation appeals to the community, they need to come back and give back. On top of it, too, I like that those two young men are going to get a chance to continue their graduate degree. Starbucks has actually a very good program for their employees to continue their higher education.
We have that.
Sorry to shortchange you guys, but we got to move on. When we return, she's looking to replace Republican John Culberson in Congress. But first, Lizzie Fletcher must win a hotly contested Democratic runoff. Is she the best woman for the job? She's going to tell us. Our hot seat conversation after the break.